But let me come to His Holiness Dalai Lama and 4 commitments. Okay, he has 4 commitments. Number one, he is as a human. Number 2 is as a Buddhist. Number 3 is as a Tibetan. Number 4 is as a Nalanda scholar. So number 1, as a human being, we all want happiness. We don't want suffering. So if you want happiness, compassion, kindness should be your values. So that's what I said, analytical meditation, Tonglen, all that, And then main teaching is, if you cannot help others, at least don't harm others. That's the bottom line. So if you cannot practice kindness and compassion and go towards other side to help, at least don't harm. That is also kindness. Now, as a Buddhist, what he say is that I am a Buddhist scholar, but religion has brought so much destructions as well. So much animosity, so much destruction, so much death, which is a fact because of fight and competition among, religions. So that's why he said we need interfaith dialogue. I interpret this as religion in itself is beautiful. All the religion, doesn't matter which one, emphasizes love, compassion, kindness, that. But when religion becomes religiosity, when it goes to the society starts saying, I am Buddhist, you are Hindu, you are Muslim, you are Christian, then religiosity creates the differentiation. But still it's all right as long as you tolerate. You can say I'm Buddhist, you can say I'm Christian, you can say I'm Hindu and you're Christian, but you can tolerate each other, you can accept each other. But when religion becomes religionism, when it becomes an ideology, then that's a problem. Then I'm right, you're wrong, my religion is better, yours is worse. So when you practice religion, you must make sure that religion remains in religion. You should be conscious of religiosity, your role in it. But we should never embrace religionism. Once ism is added, it becomes a problem. Then you are better than others. Then others will say, why? I'm better than you. At least I don't think I may not be better than you, but I'm not lower than you, Then it becomes a problem. So that's why His Holiness says, as a Buddhist, we must embrace each other. So His Holiness Dalai Lama is, I think, one of the very few leaders who actually meets and attends and visits all the faiths. He has visited all the churches in the world. He has met with Pope John Paul, you just name it all, S.I. Desmond Tutu, and he's co-authored temples, mosques, synagogues. He has friends among all of them. He is one of the very few who actually says and practices interfaith. He says interfaith dialogue is very important. He was one of the founder who created the World Parliament of Religion. It's a UN kind of acknowledged body. And all the faith, there is a parliament, all the faith from all the countries are represented. So that we have dialogue, so that through dialogue we have understanding. So that's what he says. Even though I'm Buddhist, we must have interfaith harmony and dialogue. Third, as a Tibetan, he says the Tibetan culture and Tibetan language, especially Tibetan environment, is so important. Not just for Tibetans, but for the world. Because what we practice is compassion, kindness. Tibetan values are very, it's ancient civilization. And Tibet's environment is vital. Because, we are here in Kolkata. Tibet is also called the third pole. It's more important than first and the second pole. In the Western media and the funders and agencies are also quite biased. Because when the ice and the glaciers of first and the second pole undertake an Arctic melt, it goes to ocean. It becomes salt water. It's not drinkable. The glaciers of Tibet, when they melt, it forms streams, it forms rivers, and it's a fresh water. It's a drinking water for rest of Asia. So 1.4 billion people depend on the rivers flowing from Tibet. All the major rivers, Brahmaputra, lifeline for northeast, Bangladesh, flows from Tibet, right? Now China is going to build the biggest dam on Brahmaputra. They want to weaponize it. They want to control the flow of river. And then Indus River, Satluj River, Irrawaddy, Mekong, even Yellow River, Yangtze River of China, all flow from Tibet. So Tibet is vital. Now, if you're interested about environment, I'm happy to dwell more on environment, because I do also have a degree. In addition to English literature in BA, I also have diploma in environmental law. And the World Economic Forum has done a survey. And then they have surveyed about crisis. So they listed top 10 crises. Number one crisis is water. It's not war, it's water. Presently, there are 137 million refugees in the world. Only 35 million are political refugees. 102 million refugees are all climate-related refugees. So there is no water, there is drought, it's drying up, and then people are pushed, and then they have no sense of survival, and then keep moving. So it's an impending crisis. And so if you're more interested, I can dwell more about it. And then number 4 is Nalanda, wisdom. And then what he says is that, the kindness and compassion that I talked about now should be taught around the world. Sometimes he jokingly says, I've been talking about compassion, kindness throughout the world. But he says, these elderly people, they are too stubborn. I'm just giving up on them, They come and listen and fold their hands and say, oh, okay, and then they forget. But he wants to teach this to the younger generation. So there is a curriculum now. It's called SEAL learning, SEEL, which means social, emotional, ethical learning. The textbook is, drafted by Emory University. Now it's taught in 42 countries. It's translated in 26 languages. 20 million students are taught this curriculum. And in India, Piramal Foundation, they support this, and many of the schools in Rajasthan, they're already following it. And Delhi city also had what they call curriculum happiness, which is very similar to, and then others, and it was cities, and let's say in 42 countries, from Israel to Ukraine to Mexico. Mexico City, the capital city, has also adopted this curriculum. So 20 million students are taught this. So what does it say is that now the new generation of students, all of you, should be socially responsible, right? And emotionally sound and ethically strong. Because in school and universities, this is not taught. You're taught courses, you're taught about career, you're taught about ambition. And success is the metrics and measurement. He says, these are important, but you must add this layer, where students are taught. You should not just teach their brain, their head. You must teach their heart. How to be socially responsible, how to be emotionally strong. Why mental health is the number one crisis in the Western world, now including, in third world countries as well, right? Stress and depression, and you have to eat pills after pills. Because why? Students are not emotionally balanced. So you must teach how to be emotionally balanced. And then you have to be ethically strong. If you do this, if you teach this curriculum, and they have done this empirical study, and peer-reviewed journals have published a report, those students who go through this curriculum have greater sense of empathy, greater sense of kindness, greater sense of responsibility. So now if you teach this, what happens is that politicians will not just think about power. They'll think about people. Doctors will not think about money. They'll think about patient. Business people not go after profit only. They will go after production and prosperity for the people. So and so forth. So this is paradigm shift. This curriculum is trying to bring to the world. And I'm glad that 20 million students are learning through this. And this is essentially the Nalanda tradition, Nalanda values. And His Holiness always talks about Nalanda values. He said, in India, they have kind of forgotten this. Because in ancient Buddhist texts, the way India is described, the way Indians are described, they're described in such a holy way. Because for Tibetans, India is a holy land. People there are holy. They are the model citizens. But I remember some Lama saying that you read these texts for decades in Tibet. When you come to India, people are very different from what is written in the text. What went wrong? Of course, you can blame, the Mughal Empire and the British colonizers. Of course, they have their fault too. But how come you have lost the roots? Right? And he says, yes, actually, in schools. I mean, what is the traditional term for schools in ancient times? Kurukshetra. What do you call it? Gurukuls. They teach about socially responsible, emotionally balanced, and ethically strong. That's how they teach you the foundation of humanity and human being. And then the knowledge and wisdom is added. That's how they make you strong, right? So that's what, His Holiness is trying to revive. And he also says, I'm a proud son of India. And he says, India is my guru, I'm Chela. But he says, now Chela knows more about ancient Indian wisdom than the gurus, right? So with that note, I'm very proud and happy to say that His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, as I said, he says he's a proud son of India. He says, my brain is of Nalanda tradition. My body, for the last 60 plus years, is because of dal and roti, that I ate in India. So that's why he is a proud son of India. So I'm glad to come and represent and reflect a few of the things about his life and legacy. Even though we lost our country, and His Holiness Dalai Lama was 23 years old. He led us with nothing. And we are very fortunate that India provided us the refuge. But I must say proudly, the Tibetan government exile, which I ran, is the most successful government in exile compared to any other exile governments. With our own schools, with our own hospitals, our literacy rate is 96%. India is 82%, So that way, we have achieved mainly because of India and your generosity, okay? So with that, I will end my short presentation because I've been a lecturer now and I've been a politician as well. You give a mic and I can go on and keep talking. So I'll end here and wait for your questions. Thank you.